So, our first episode, we're going to be talking about Ghostbusters. The way it's going to work is we're going to go over the plot of the original 1984 classic.
That is Ghostbusters.
And then we're going to talk about the new and improved
2016 Answer the Call.
Ghostbusters Answer the Call. So, that's how it's going to work. That's a little...
Yeah, I think that's pretty simple. So
Well, do you think we should introduce ourselves? Is that important?
Yeah. My name's Josh.
My name is James.
And
we like films.
Yeah, I'd say we have a good sort of...
We have a good knowledge of
what's
films.
good and not. But,
yeah.
I mean, might just be big-headedness. we'll throw it out there.
Yeah, we'll throw it out there. We are, I would say, the finest critics that the world has ever seen.
Oh yeah, well, ever to
and our opinions are infallible.
Ironclad, and we don't accept any other.
No.
Don't accept any other versions. That's it.
Yeah. So accept no limitations. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm going to enjoy the comments after this.
You're going to enjoy the comments after this.
Yeah, the comments below the video is going to be the podcast.
Because people don't really understand sarcasm on podcasts, do they?
No, I mean if you saw my face.
And also we're obviously not being sarcastic. We do genuinely think
we are the best.
We are the best. Josh looks so unhappy.
Yeah. I wish it was a video. Yeah, so original
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, Ghostbusters.
You ready to talk about it?
Yeah, I mean I haven't seen it in a long time, and I kind of failed to recap on this.
Right. Well, can we just talk about this for a second?
What?
I sent Josh homework to watch the original Ghostbusters.
Yeah, but I've seen it before.
Let me finish.
Okay.
I sent him homework to watch the original Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters Answer the Call. What did you do, Josh?
I watched Ghostbusters Answer the Call.
Did you watch the other one?
I did not.
And his excuse was, I have seen the film before.
I've seen the film before, and I kind of didn't find time. I was going to watch it, but I didn't find time because I was busy. I managed to watch the new one last night.
Yeah.
And I mean, I did walk in on you, James, and you were still watching the old Clash of Titans.
Hey, that's for another day. We don't need to spoil the movie magic about what our next podcast is about. This is...
It's Clash of the Titans. Yeah, anyway. But yeah, I don't think you should be too mad at me. I've seen it before. I know the plot line. Well, it's a classic.
In that case, Josh, can you go over in detail the plot, cast, and crew?
Don't do this to me.
No, I'm joking. So, Ghostbusters came out in 1984. It was directed by Ivan Reitman.
It was Ivan Reitman, yes.
Who has directed such hits as...
Don't have a clue. Really could not tell you. I only know he's attached to the Ghostbusters. I've not really seen his back catalogue.
No, I think he directed some interesting things, and he was still directing films quite recently. I think he directed Up in the Air that came out a few years back.
Okay, right, I see.
But before he directed Ghostbusters, he was most famous for working with Bill Murray.
Yeah.
On Stripes, which I've not seen.
No, not
and then immediately after, he went into directing films with Danny DeVito.
Okay.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, twins. I'm sure he directed that, didn't
he? He did the one where Schwarzenegger's pregnant. I think he did that one.
Junior.
What
a film.
He did Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah, okay. So he has got a pretty extensive back catalogue. But
what was most exciting for me is that he directed one of my childhood favourite films.
Oh, yeah.
Which was a film called Evolution.
Now,
I don't know if you've seen Evolution.
I have seen it, but I've not actually seen it for a long time.
I love Evolution.
I can't say I loved it, but I understand what you mean.
I loved Evolution. Yeah. I thought it is a kid's film.
It is a kid's film.
I was a kid when I watched it.
It's a 12 though, isn't it?
It came out in 2001. I think it might have been a 12.
Yeah, it's like a borderline sort of kids film.
Yeah. But I also used to love the cartoon of Evolution as well. There used to be a cartoon series of it. I love the music. There was a weird parallel between Evolution and Ghostbusters that I noticed actually, which I'll get onto.
What was that?
In a bit. Well, we'll talk about it in a bit. We're not at that point yet, Josh.
Now.
Stop being such a keen bean about the whole thing.
Right, sorry.
So anyway, Ivan Reitman gets together some of they're all Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, I would imagine so, because Bill Murray was quite big on Saturday Night Live.
So there's Bill Murray, Harold Ramis.
Yeah.
Even Reitman. He's not in it.
He's not. He is, isn't he?
He's not in it. Who does he play?
He plays the one with the glasses.
That's not the one with the glasses. It's not.
Is it? Who's that then?
That's Harold Ramis is the one that died.
Harold Ramis. Yeah, sorry, that is him. Yeah, sorry. That's who I'm thinking.
I'm gonna have to cut all this out. We're gonna start the podcast again.
We're not gonna start. Just cut that.
No. So the cast of the film is Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Sigourney Weaver, Harold Ramis, Rick Moranis, and Ernie Hudson.
Mm-hmm.
So they are quite stellar actors, I would say.
Yeah, and quite big for the era.
Quite big for the era.
Especially Rick Moranis.
Yeah, and this was definitely the film that sort of catapulted them into superstardom.
Yeah.
This was a huge film of the 80s. It spawned one sequel, Ghostbusters 2.
Two sequels if you think about it.
The video game?
No, the remake.
The remake isn't a sequel.
Well, they like to think it is.
Nah.
They like because a lot of people said, is it a sequel? Is it a remake? And I think in the press run they were like, well, it's a bit of a sequel, it's a bit of a remake. But clearly it's just a remake.
Can I just say, can I take a little minute here to go, I've got no idea what the difference is between a remake and a reboot.
Well, I think a remake is a direct remake. So if you think about Psycho, that's a direct remake. Or something that takes the plot line of another film.
Okay.
Is a direct remake. And if it has certain story elements in it that make it a remake, that is a remake. A reboot is if something's been dead in the water for 30 years.
And then they've
decided to make a new film that does have certain themes and obviously,
but over this podcast, over the course of this podcast, we're going to be talking about both remakes and reboots at some point.
I mean, and I think we're doing some that are influenced.
Yeah.
Highly influenced.
Highly influenced, yeah. But we will save that for another time.
Yeah, there's some other things we've got.
Yeah. So Ghostbusters kicks off with Bill Murray conducting a psychology experiment.
Yeah.
I don't know how well you remember this, considering you've not done your homework, Josh.
No, I'm sorry. I don't really remember the beginning. I remember it loosely.
So at the beginning, Bill Murray is conducting a psychology experiment with two people at his university. Mm-hmm. What's it called in America? College?
Yeah, college.
And he's flirting heavily with the young lady. And he's basically holding cards up and making two people guess what's on the back of the other card.
Right.
And
I don't remember this at all.
Yeah, this all happens.
This is awful. I've come round. I've watched
it. There's an attractive lady and just like a guy, and every time the lady guesses, he's like, "Yeah, well done, you got it right." And then every time the guy guesses, he's like, "Nah."
Making it for his own advantage.
Yeah. So it's clear from the offset that Bill Murray is a bit of a womanizer, bit of a player.
Yeah.
And he is friends with Dan Aykroyd's character. Now, can you remember what all the characters are called?
Well, no one's called Venkman.
That is
Venkman.
Bill Murray.
Yeah, Bill Murray.
Dan Aykroyd's character, and I promise we're not using IMDb to find any of this out.
Well, I think if we didn't, I think we'd be a little bit. I think they'd be a little bit
because we are film geniuses, like we've already.
Well, yeah, no, we'll know a lot of stuff, but seeing as this is our first one, we're a bit rusty. I think.
I think
clearly because someone didn't watch one of them.
I think we're like an oiled machine, Josh.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Dan Aykroyd plays Dr. Raymond Stantz.
Now, is one of the original characters called Holtzman? Or Holtz?
No,
Holtz.
none of them are called Holtzman, which is interesting.
That's in the new one then.
Yeah,
I thought that it was
Holtzman is the new one.
I thought it was similar to a character in the original that was called Holtz something.
No, there is Dr. Peter Venkman, which is Bill Murray. Yeah. Dr. Raymond Stantz, which is Dan Aykroyd. Mm-hmm. Dr. Egon Spengler, which is Harold Ramis, and Winston Zedmore, which is Hudson, who comes in later in the film.
Yep.
But they are alerted to some paranormal activity which is happening at a local library.
Yeah.
So they go and investigate it. It is a spooky ghost.
It's I tell you what, it's very spooky because it stayed with me.
It is, and that's one of the things that struck me with the original Ghostbusters film is that the horror in it is quite genuine.
Yeah.
There's certain, and particularly towards the end of the film, there are some really scary scenes in it. Yeah. So,
especially anything to do with Zool and Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get to, but that is a lot of creepiness
involved.
But yeah, there's some really standout scenes that I genuinely, when I was a kid, I was actually quite scared of it. It was PG.
It was PG. Well, PG.
PG of the old.
Yeah, the old.
You get away with stuff like a Jaws PG.
Yeah. But anyway, they find out about paranormal activity going on. They try and raise some money from the university to look into it.
Doesn't go their way.
Which doesn't go their way. They then hire a fire station.
Yes,
They rent a fire station.
Yeah.
And
they set up all their experiments in there.
And and it gets going very quickly.
Yeah.
From the offset, it's like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
Here we are. We're all together. Yeah, we're in a fire station. We're busting. We're busting ghosts.
Yep, that's what they're doing.
So Egon is like the nerdy one who makes all of the machinery.
Yep.
He makes the proton packs. Bill Murray is like the charismatic leader. Dan Aykroyd is like the sort of
comedy chops.
Yeah, the comedy chops. The Joker of the group. So they set out to prove that they are the best at hunting ghosts, busting ghosts. And they hire a receptionist who is great. I think she's really funny.
She is really funny.
I think
she's her name, like.
I think she's called Annie.
Yeah,
Annie Potts.
Yep.
And she's got this really nasally Brooklyn-y accent.
Yep.
Which is great and really plays to her like comedic talents, particularly when they get some of their earliest phone calls about hunting ghosts, and she's like, "We got one!" It's brilliant. And that's kind of it. That starts the film off. They go around
the general premise,
busting ghosts, and then who turns up at their door but Sigourney Weaver?
Yeah.
In all her glory. And what has happened with her is that she has gone back to her flat with a load of shopping, and then eggs go haywire.
Everything gets thrown around.
Eggs exploding everywhere, burning up, turning into fried eggs. Yep. She opens up the fridge. Who's there? My main man, Zool.
Yep.
My main man, Zool. And she's in a really ornate, like, block of flats.
It's a very nice flat.
Apartment blocks.
I wouldn't imagine the rent on that place in that time.
It looks like Batman's hideout.
It does look
big gargoyles on the top of it.
Yeah. Oh, the gargoyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she lives in there, and she opens up her fridge, and there's just a massive monster thing.
Yeah.
Called Zool.
Indeed. Which obviously attracts the attention of the Ghostbusters. They're intrigued.
And Bill Murray is especially intrigued because Sigourney Weaver is looking pretty fine.
Sigourney Weaver has looked fine for the past 20 years, I think. She's always looking fine to me.
Did she awaken something in you, Josh?
I don't think so. I think she was a bit after, like, when I was born, maybe. She's quite old then. But looking at her in those films, like, say, Alien and stuff like that, yeah.
Out of interest, when did you first see Ghostbusters? How old were you when you first saw
I think I was about 10 or 11. I think my dad showed it me on, it was on ITV or something like that.
It is a very, it's a very ITV.
Yeah, and I think, obviously, he blocked my eyes at certain bits, but I think that's what my dad used to do most of the time.
Yeah.
Just let me watch things and then block my eyes when things came up. I definitely remember with the Terminator he did that.
Yeah, but Terminator is quite...
Yeah, well, no, he decided to just close my eyes on the sex scene.
Yeah, I mean, that's
and
fair
let me
enough.
watch the rest of it, which was quite...
Blowing up people's faces.
Yeah, blowing up people's faces, pulling hearts out.
Yeah.
He was alright with that. He was you watch that.
Yeah, and it explains so much about your character, Josh.
Yeah, I know, exactly. But yeah, no, I think I watched Ghostbusters when I was about 11 or 10.
I can't remember when I first saw the film, but I know that I used to watch... Was it called The Real Ghostbusters? The animated?
Yeah,
series?
Yeah, that was on at the time.
I used to watch that, and when I was a kid, I used to be obsessed with, like, figurines and toys and stuff.
Yeah, there was
and the toys for Ghostbusters used to be really cool, because you could get... I used to like all the grossest kind of stuff. Yeah. So I can't remember when I first watched the actual film, but I know that I've seen it. This must be my 4th or 5th time.
I think I've seen it roughly about 4 times. But yeah, I do remember watching it as a kid. But like, I think that's the thing. It's one of those borderline films. Like, yeah, it does have the creepy scenes in it. Yeah, but it's kind of balanced with the comedy.
And it is funny. It is genuinely funny. There are some brilliant scenes, particularly with going back to Sigourney Weaver's character. She lives next door to Rick Moranis. Yeah, who plays like a really sort of weaselly, snivelling office worker.
Always wants to be part of this situation.
Yeah, always wants to be part of it, and is obsessed with Sigourney and trying to get her to come to a party and all that kind of thing.
Yep.
And yeah, he plays a great part in it, particularly later on in the film.
Yeah.
Where things start going down.
Well, he
gets real.
He's the target of Zool.
Yeah. Well, no, she's the target of Zool. He's the target of.
Well, I mean, eventually he's the target.
Yeah.
He's the target of Zool. I know what you mean. Like later in the film, she's initially his target.
Yeah. But Sigourney rings up the Ghostbusters on the Ghostbusters hotline, gets them to come down and check it out.
Yeah.
And I think nothing happens. If I remember correctly.
Well, I think they come round and try and test it out, and I think there's nothing there at that moment.
Yeah, there might be some readings that we need to look into.
But then Venkman, Bill Murray, he decides to keep in touch with her because obviously he likes her.
Yeah, he's trying to get a date with her.
Yeah. But then that's where he realises that everything might be as she says. Exactly.
Well, and immediately after this scene is where things start going well for the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, because they're getting a lot more.
They're getting a lot of jobs. They're getting a lot of publicity. They're becoming like minor celebrities around the city.
Well, you couldn't miss them, really.
Yeah, they've got like a huge hearse.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea where they got it from. I remember Dan Aykroyd saying it was like $4,800 to get this massive hearse that they drive around in.
Seen that for it.
Yeah. But they paint that up all in the Ghostbusters stuff, and that's one of those iconic toys that you can still remember.
I do remember that one, actually. That was probably one of the most iconic ones. Like,
yeah.
It was probably the one that you recognise. Well, it's probably one of the most recognisable cars in film, sort of like history.
And then Winston turns up, who is the fourth member of the Ghostbusters crew.
Winston.
Really for no apparent reason. He just rocks up one day and he's like, yeah, I want to work here.
Just want to join?
Yeah.
Why not?
I can't remember if I think he might see a ghost and that's why he comes to him.
Yeah, I think he witnesses a ghost and then he comes to see them and then he just naturally...
Yeah, he's just drawn into the team. I think he sees this part-time work or something and then Bill Murray's just like, yep, you're hired.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So he just appears and he's part of the team. And then the sort of B-plot of the story is that they're trying to shut down the Ghostbusters. The Environmental Protection Agency is trying to shut down the Ghostbusters. Yeah. Because as they're capturing these ghosts, they're just putting them in a locker somewhere in the fire station. And it's getting pretty dangerous.
There's no containment.
Yeah, there's no containment for it. So some other stuff happens.
Yeah, I think that from there, I think that's where the plot.
This is where the plot really starts to kick in. So, Sigourney Weaver becomes possessed
by Zool.
While
Bill Murray is round in the flat.
Yeah, which is an iconic scene.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best scenes as well.
Yeah,
because Sigourney Weaver actually, plays it to a T.
Sigourney plays it brilliantly. Zool is such the "I am Zool" line is so iconic and memorable.
Yeah, it is.
There is no Dana, only Zool.
Only Zool.
Yeah, is genius. And Bill Murray's sort of deadpan reaction to the whole.
He plays
thing.
it so well because he's like, I know what's going on, but he's like, I kind of don't want to see it. I just don't want it to be happening, so I'll pretend it's not.
Yeah, particularly because she opens the door in like the skimpiest sort of.
He's like, I don't care who you are. I'm happy.
In. So she's like floating on the bed, and it's important to say that this film is from 1984, and the one of the things I noticed is that the CGI, would it have been CGI?
Special effects. Yeah,
the special effects, the VFX. They still hold up, I would say, for the most part. I would say when the sort of gremlin-y Zool thing from the roof starts coming to life, that's a little bit iffy.
Yeah, it is a little bit iffy.
Particularly when it's in movement, but when
it does work though.
They use the puppet of it, that looks brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think when you have puppets and you have framing, they go hand in hand. They make scenes a lot more better.
Yeah. And all through it, one other important thing to say, there's that iconic music.
Oh, of course.
That music, I think, is one of the biggest reasons that this film became such a phenomenon.
Yep.
The Ghostbusters theme song,
and thank you to Ray Parker Jr. for actually making that happen.
Yeah, exactly. Ray Parker Jr. Fair play, man.
Shout out to you.
That is a huge hit, and it's still played like at my work. Sometimes they play
just in the middle of the day. Oh, we'll have Ghostbusters on.
It's Ghostbusters time.
Yeah. Well, it's played at Halloween. It's played in party. You know, it's one of those songs that everyone knows, and you know all the words.
So iconic. Although there is a weirdly, I was trying to explain this to someone yesterday. There's a weirdly sexual undertone to the song. Now Josh is looking at me like I'm an absolute lunatic.
How so though?
But right, Josh, let me get the lyrics up.
Okay.
Let me read out some of these lyrics.
You should know the lyrics. It's a big song.
Yeah, but it's the lyrics in between the "Who you gonna call?"
Oh.
So I'll cut out all this bit where I'm just sort of googling something. Right, I've got the lyrics. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready. Since you said this, I've been ready.
You've been intrigued, haven't you?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. I need to find the weird lyric.
Take your time. I mean, we got loads of time.
Not all day. I ain't afraid of no ghost.
Okay.
I hear it likes the girls. If you've had a dose of a freaky ghost, baby. Oh, an advert just came up.
I likes the baby then. I did.
You better call... Right, here you go, Josh. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, go on.
You better call Ghostbusters. Busting makes me feel so good.
Okay, then. Fair point.
I don't think anyone can deny...
I don't think you could, in any context of the film, I don't think that makes any sense, apart from the sense that he's making.
Yep.
The line that he wrote there is the line that he meant.
So...
There's no undertones to that. It is as it says.
Anyway, let's move on from busting.
Yeah. But overall, the original Ghostbusters. What's your feel of it?
We don't need to wrap up yet. We've still got loads of plot to go.
What do you mean loads of plot? Oh, right, fine. Oh yeah, we haven't got to Marshmallow Man yet.
We've not got to Gozer. We've not got to any of this stuff. So, Sigourney Weaver has been possessed by Zool.
Yes.
Rick Moranis has been possessed by the other thing.
Yes.
I can't remember what it's called. There's like another
demon.
And one of them is the gatekeeper, and one of them is the key holder.
Yes.
So Rick Moranis is like hilarious because he's running through the streets like a madman, like a dog hitting on the windows.
Yeah.
And he alerts the attention of the rest of the Ghostbusters crew who come up and round him up.
Yep.
Because he's causing chaos.
Mm-hmm.
So they all go back to the fire station. And I think at this point, the EPA is also getting involved as well.
Yeah.
And what happens eventually is that the EPA tell them to turn off the containment unit for the ghosts.
Yeah, because they don't want it up anymore. They think that it's going to...
I think it's causing...
Well, the thing that happens is the thing that they fear.
Yeah, so they turn it off and ghosts explode everywhere. Yeah. And this is where, the special effects are pretty cool. They've got like a big thing going around the fire station and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And some of the practical effects are quite scary. So there's one scene in particular that I'm thinking of where a guy gets into a taxi.
Yes, yeah.
And the camera just pans over and there's like this skeleton, gross man with no face just like sat there. And that, like, even last night when I watched this film, it made me jump because it's unexpected and it is scary.
But again, as well, the comedy aspect of it makes it less so. But when you do see it, like the practical effects, the sight of it, it's quite horrible.
So Rick Moranis is with the rest of the Ghostbusters crew. He's like picking up stuff, smelling it, like trying to eat stuff. He's great, and he basically is a bit of the exposition. He explains that when they're together, they're going to release Gozer, who's this ancient evil being.
Yeah.
So they end up all going to the massive building, and it turns out this building was custom built to bring Gozer forth or whatever. Quite a lot of the film is pretty nonsensical, even though it's straightforward.
Yeah, it is nonsensical, of course.
There is a lot of stuff where you just
but it is a quite straightforward plot. I mean, like, there's no kind of like, you know.
You don't sit there going, "What am I watching?" You know.
There's no twist or turn. There's not like a secret like agenda going on. It's just as it is.
So Gozer gets released, and we've skipped a scene here, which is possibly one of my favourite scenes. The Ghostbusters all get rounded up and go to the mayor's office.
Oh yeah, and they're told
to get briefed.
Yeah.
and Dan Aykroyd says of the EPA agent, this guy over here, this dickless guy, he's gonna cause chaos, like he's gonna ruin everything. And the mayor turns to Bill Murray and says, "Is that true?" And he's just like, "Yep, that man has no dick." And he's one of some of the best delivery.
Yeah.
He's absolutely great in it. So yeah, I can't believe we skipped that scene because that's absolutely one of my favorite.
This is the point where the Ghostbusters are kind of semi-arrested, aren't they? Like
they're kind of in trouble, and then they're really the only ones who can.
Yeah, then they start to realise that obviously when all hell breaks loose, they're the only ones that can actually deal with the situation.
Yeah. So they suit up, and the suits are pretty iconic.
Yeah.
They're just in like boiler suits. The proton pack looks unbelievable. I think it was just like a Hoover or something that they disassembled. I can't remember. But they've been warned throughout the film that they're not allowed to cross the streams. Because if the streams of the proton beams get crossed, it would cause a nuclear explosion.
I'm pretty sure that's a euphemism.
Crossing the streams
for toilet urinal talk.
I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg sort of thing. Like, was that already a common?
Well, you don't cross swords in the
phrase?
toilet. It's just common knowledge. I'm sure it was common knowledge in the 80s.
Yep. You know what, Josh? You're probably right.
Probably right. It's a funny joke. I like it anyway, even if it doesn't mean that.
Yeah, it is a great joke.
But yeah, they're told not to do that because it will cause chaos to themselves.
Yeah. So, back to them all on the roof.
Yep.
Sigourney Weaver and Rick Moranis have been like sacrificed or turned back into the stone goblins or something like that. Yeah. And Gozer has been released. And Gozer, I can't remember who Gozer is played by, but it's another woman character.
Oh, okay.
Who comes out from...
I don't remember that part, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like initially a woman.
Yeah, because she then says, "Whatever you tell me to be, I will destroy you."
Yeah, and then
And so they're all stood there, and Bill Murray is like, "Nobody think of anything. Like, we need to decide on something that we're going to be able to beat." And then Dan Aykroyd's face just goes, "Oh shit!" Like he's thought of something. And this is really good storytelling because Josh won't know this because he didn't watch the film.
I've seen the film,
but throughout the film, there have been hints about a character called Stay Puft.
Right. So it is actually all the way through the film.
Yeah, the Stay Puft marshmallows are in Sigourney Weaver's shopping at the beginning of the film.
I see, right.
There is a massive billboard outside the fire station.
Like foreshadowing then.
Yeah, there's a lot of foreshadowing for it.
Okay.
So Dan Aykroyd then, the only thing he can think of is this mascot, this Stay Puft marshmallow character. And again, this is a film full of iconic moments, so as soon as he thinks about the Stay Puft marshmallow, a giant marshmallow man walks around the corner.
I mean, obviously they didn't think it would be that big.
Yeah.
But
it's great.
No messing here.
It's absolutely great. Yeah. It looks amazing. I believe it's practical effects. I think it's just a guy in a suit.
I think it's minute. Well, it's kind of bigature.
Yeah, bigature.
It's filmed with a person, and then they just
see. Josh over here is my film technical terms guy.
Technical terms, yeah.
Yeah, Josh knows all the technical terms for film.
Yeah, I think I should start explaining some of these terms because I'm just saying them like I know what they are. Well, VFX, visual effects. Not too bad.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, I'll just go back to that from before.
I'm sure all of our many listeners were sat there wondering
what's VFX?
What does VFX mean? Since you said it 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, true. but bigatures, that's a one that most people might not know.
Yeah.
Which is basically large scale miniatures.
Right.
So they do large scale, but then they either shrink it down or buff it up, basically. But it could be, it's for example like...
Well, I thought what had happened was it was just a guy in a suit and the town was made to look small. Like he was in a model town.
Oh, right, okay, right. But it could possibly have been.
I thought they Hot Fuzz. I thought it was that kind of thing.
Yeah, well I thought they might have just filmed on location. Well, not on location, they couldn't have been on location.
No. Because the roof looks like a set.
You mean for like wide shots?
For the wide shots where he's coming around the corner, I think he's just a guy in a suit in a miniature town.
Yeah, okay, that's fine, yeah.
So, anyway, a giant marshmallow man is right in front of them, and what do we do? What were they told not to do?
Cross the streams.
They crossed the streams. And the Marshmallow Man explodes into
Yeah.
marshmallow. Everyone's covered in it. Apart from Bill Murray, who has come off scot-free. Like, every other character is absolutely drenched in marshmallow. And Bill Murray just have gone, I don't want any of that near me.
No,
you
he's
can put
like-
a bit in my hair, and that's it.
He was a bit of a princess on set, and he was like, I'm having it.
And I will say, I'll go on a bit of a Bill Murray tangent here. I am a huge Bill Murray fan.
Oh, yeah.
I would say that Groundhog Day is in my top 3 favourite films of all
It's a
time.
bold choice.
It's a bold
It
choice.
is loved by a lot of people.
Yeah, I absolutely love Groundhog Day. I love Bill Murray. I even love like The Life Aquatic and Rushmore and all that, and all of his like more indie films that he's been doing recently. But I am bringing this up for a point, which is
Getting around to it.
yeah, we're not even going to get to yet. But in the next film, I have a lot of things to say.
You still gearing up for that. You really want to go for it, don't you?
Yeah, but we'll
hold
just
it.
take our time. So
Right. Yeah.
they have saved the day.
Yeah.
There's marshmallow everywhere.
Yeah.
They are massive celebrities.
Uh-huh.
He gets the girl. I think he gets Sigourney Weaver at the end.
Yeah, he does.
And it was a lovely time. A lovely time was had by all.
Yeah, even though most people nearly died.
Yeah,
The
well, I
whole
think a
city
few
was
people
destroyed.
died, and the city was pretty much
Taxpayers' money.
destroyed. But I don't think we need to worry about that too much.
As long as they're okay.
But that's pretty much
Yes.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah. That is Ghostbusters in a nutshell. Now we'll get to the wrap up.
Now we'll get to the wrap up, Josh.
What do you think
Keen
of? What do you think of?
I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I do think it's brilliant. I think it holds up excellently, and it is one of those films where, if it's on TV, you could just sit and watch it, no matter how long through the film it is.
And also, it doesn't even matter if you walk out of the room. When you come back, there's always a good scene to be watched.
Yeah, exactly. And so much of it is emblazoned into your brain.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many iconic moments that have been parodied or referenced to for so many years that it is just a part of culture.
Yeah.
And the second film, I can't even really remember. Do you know what happened
No,
to
I
Ghostbusters
can't
2?
remember. I like Ghostbusters 2. I think Ghostbusters 2 is one of the few sequels that's actually decent.
Interesting. I'll have to watch it again. I was planning on watching it ahead of this podcast to have that background knowledge of it, but I didn't have enough time.
No, it's a really good film. Only the fact that it doubles down on the comedy,
Right.
and also has a pretty decent storyline because the villain of number 2 is Vigo, who is a ghost.
Right.
He lives in a painting. It's like the plotline of it is he's a painting and he wants to resurrect himself through a younger body.
Like
So they go
Dorian
after-
Gray.
Yeah, so they go after Sigourney Weaver's son, the
who's-
small baby,
Right.
who then she doesn't have a baby in the first one.
She doesn't have a baby in the first
Yeah,
one,
so
no.
she has a baby in the second one, who they go after and they try and reincarnate him, but the whole villain in that is really good, and the guy, I don't know who plays him off the top of my head, but he's
I'll
really
have a
good.
look. But that was also directed by Ivan Reitman.
Yes.
And a sequel to the second one was in works for a very long time. And it had been bandied about a lot. I mean, I know that a lot of the crew and cast didn't really get on. There was a lot of tensions on the set. I think particularly with Bill Murray and the rest of the gang, Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis in particular. Really, there was some tension there. And I think
Harold Ramis was the writer, wasn't he?
Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd wrote both of the films, and they also got together to write the video game, which was
2009.
a spiritual successor to the films.
Yeah.
And was used a lot of the script that the third film would have used if a third film were to come out.
Yeah. I've never actually played it, but I do want to get into it.
Yeah, I heard good things about it.
Yeah, it's a shame that they didn't do a third film because it just never really came to fruition. Like there was a lot of rumours and
the rumours were going for years afterwards, and then unfortunately Harold Ramis passed away a couple of years back now.
Yeah.
And that really put a dampener on the whole thing.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't want to touch it, did they?
Yeah, apart from
Paul Feig.
Paul Feig and Sony. It's a Sony film, isn't it?
It's a Sony film. I don't know how you didn't notice because there's it does a James Bond situation where it sticks every known possible
Sony device
product into the film. Cameras had to be a 4K camera, of course. Laptops, whatever. Phones.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. What did you think of Ghostbusters, Josh?
The original?
The original.
Still on the original. Yes, I think you are right. It's got a lot of iconic moments. I think it's really good. You can just stick it on again whenever you want, and it'll be as good as it was back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we weren't around for it back in the day, but it's still.
No.
I mean, seeing it as a child, like it still holds up. I don't think that it looks awful.
It doesn't. I will say, I totally forgotten about Slimer.
Oh yeah.
I totally forgot about Slimer, which becomes such a weirdly important character in all of the films.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's weirdly important. But what do you actually think of him though? Does he annoy you?
Yeah, really annoying.
He doesn't really annoy me. That's the thing. I actually like him. He's just a bit of comedy value, isn't he?
Yeah, but there's enough comedy in the film that
I
you don't need it, and I think it kind of cheapens the experience. I know he's like the children's comic relief.
I see what you mean.
And he becomes more important in the second film, if I remember.
Yeah, he does.
He's more of like a presence.
I go. He's more of a fart joke sort of character.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I can get that for kids, and I remember loads of toys, particularly with like goo and
he's very
slime
sellable. That's the thing. He's very sellable.
Yeah.
I think they needed something in the film that was sellable. I mean, obviously the car and stuff is sellable, but
yeah,
if you got character, that's even better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with him, but I understand what you mean.
Yeah,
he has a different purpose. But yeah, no. Overall, I really enjoyed the film, and I think it's the thing with Ghostbusters is it wasn't really like anything else.
Yeah,
like it took an idea and made it actually viable.
Exactly.
Like, so you don't think of ever putting to film like, people who bust ghosts.
Well, and even the term.
When you think of ghosts,
yeah,
you always think horror.
Even the term Ghostbusters is now so.
Yeah, it rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, it's just used by everyone, and the idea is so simple because it's what if there was a mouse exterminator or a bird exterminator, but that you got rid of ghosts.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a simple concept.
I can't imagine the moment. Well, I can actually imagine the moment he just sat there and thought.
He was like, "Yes,
I've got it.
Got it."
Write it down.
And what was great about it is it was such an original idea at the time, and it did do so well.
Yeah, because it was something that.
Because it was something that no one had ever seen, and that brings us to 2016.
Do we have to?
I think we have to, Josh. Oh. I think that's the whole point of this podcast.
The whole point of it is, but I just it's too harsh on my brain.
Now, I went into let's give a bit of background to this. So Paul Feig gets the.
We don't have to go through the whole plot, do we?
I think we're going to have to go through the whole
it's
plot.
Shocking though. I'll say it in a roundabout way.
Paul Feig gets the rights to this film, and the big selling point of the film, for better or for worse, is that this is going to be an all-female remake of Ghostbusters.
Now that is one of the most important points about this film.
Yeah, I personally wasn't up in arms about it. No. I had absolutely no problem about it.
Oh, no, there's nothing problematic about it.
Backlash on the internet.
Yeah, which is obviously. I mean, it wasn't surprising, but it was. Yeah. It was shocking to see the amount of people that had a problem with it.
Yeah, there was a lot of vitriol. There was a lot of It was one of the first major instances of vote manipulation that I saw, where dedicated teams would downvote or dislike any references to this new Ghostbusters film. And I think because the Ghostbusters franchise, as we said, was so cherished by a lot of people, when someone was seen to have come in and meddled with something that they loved so much and held so dear to them, there was a lot of backlash.
Well, you see it all the time though, don't you? Star Wars and...
Well, that's it, and a film that we will be discussing later this year, Ocean's 8, is going to be doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And I do think it's great that women characters are being promoted, and actresses are given the chance to show the chops on a film like this. So, with that out of the way, this film is absolutely garbage.
Yeah, with that in mind, we just get that out of the way.
This film, I went into this film with... I don't even know what my expectations were going into it. I thought it might have been better than people had given it credit for. I read a few reviews of it. Yeah. I thought, I don't think it's going to be this bad. I think a lot of the responses to it were instantaneous, and that given a little bit of time, it's not going to be a problem. It's going to be...
you can only judge a film when you've actually seen it.
Yeah.
But in this case...
Yeah. Well, some of the podcasts I listen to are quite positive about it and think that it is a good film. And so I went into it with that in mind, and I possibly shouldn't have done that because when I watched the film, I realised that this.
I'll tell you a
for
point
me.
about the film. The jokes actually do land now and again, and I think the film is quite funny. But when you stick and slap something as iconic as Ghostbusters to it just to make it popular,
Yeah.
that is where the problem lies. Because if you've got jokes that actually work, then you shouldn't need something as big as that to then slap on like a lunchbox and then
Exactly.
sell it to people. Because if it came out as a film with an original plot and there was those jokes in it, I probably would have laughed. But because the fact that it was Ghostbusters and they were just trying to get a quick, basically, a quick book, as they say, that's where the problem lies.
Paul Feig is relatively talented in that he did Bridesmaids, right?
He did Bridesmaids, which is the point of being it, where he can write comedy. He did
Spy, which I think was pretty decent. I watched Spy. So he's got a cast of characters that he refers and brings on projects quite a lot.
Melissa McCarthy and Kirsten Wiig.
Yeah,
to be specific.
I like two of his gals.
Yeah, exactly. It's like being like Tim Burton with Helena Bonham Carter and
Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
it's that kind of concept. Which reminds me, Charlie the Chocolate Factory would be a great rebooters.
Shout. Because I love the first one.
Great rebooters.
And I love the second one. Yeah, it's great.
There's a cheeky behind the scenes for all those fans at home.
Yeah, that is a good shout. So we didn't think of that, did we?
Yeah, no, that wasn't on the list. So anyway. Paul Feig has got this cast that he brings in quite a lot, and then he also got Kate McKinnon, who is an SNL alum, and Leslie Jones, who is another person who's on SNL, to my knowledge. The problem is Saturday Night Live is not a thing here.
No, not really.
So we don't really have that kind of background to
these people. She is SNL.
Yeah, they are Saturday Night Live people. So let's get on to the plot, if you could call it that.
Yeah, well,
it starts quite differently.
I think it starts relatively differently. I mean, you got Kirsten Wiig, who is
she's a famous physicist.
Yeah, she's a famous physicist, and she works for a well-renowned college.
Yeah, and she's just about to work at an even more prestigious college.
Yeah, she's going to get her tenure, which is like their sort of like, I would guess their masters in their field or something like that. So she's going to go to, she's getting recommended to Princeton. Yeah, but I think her boss wants her to go somewhere else. Anyway, but she gets recommended to there. But obviously she's got a sort of past of, she used to be a sort of...
paranormal enthusiast?
Yes, and she wrote a book with her friend, who's played by Melissa McCarthy. So they obviously wrote this book, and it's kind of like a stain on her CV a little bit. She don't want her people to know about it.
She's moved past that and has moved into the world of science.
Yeah. Actual physical obtainable science.
She's not happy that this is being dug up.
Yeah, exactly.
And she had thought that this is really how they all get together. She had thought that all the copies of this book had been burned or gotten rid of.
Yeah,
but it turns out that it's being sold on Amazon. So she goes to Melissa McCarthy to confront her and say, look, I don't want my name on this. Yeah, and
she finds out that she's only doing it for a sort of steady revenue because her college, while they're funding her, they shouldn't. Well, they sort of want more funds, but they're never gonna. She knows she's never gonna get them. So
and her colleague is Kate McKinnon.
Yes, Kate
who
McKinnon,
I'm going to say right off the bat, easily the best thing about this film.
Yeah, I would agree
by far.
Yeah, she's actually quite likeable.
Her and another character we'll get onto soon.
Okay.
There's two characters in this that are brilliant. She's one of them.
Okay. Yeah, Holtzman she plays, which is her character. She's quite zany and spontaneous. And
she is memorable.
Wild. Yeah, she's memorable. But the thing is, I like it because she's her own character and they didn't they didn't go to any other place for all that. I mean, she's the geeky one.
She's like the kooky, geeky person who makes all the cool gadgets and stuff that they use.
She's kind of like the Q of Ghostbusters.
Yeah, exactly.
But she's memorable. So yeah, we get introduced to her, and then Kirsten Wiig is talking to him about new developments in their field where they've been developing other gadgets and stuff.
Am I going crazy here?
Go on.
She just decides to go with him.
Well,
she has this weird rivalry with Melissa McCarthy where she's like, I don't like you anymore, we've moved past it, and then it seems like they walk outside and it's just like, yeah, okay,
No, the reason she goes is because Melissa McCarthy says, yes, I will get the book offline, but only if you come and introduce us to these people.
Right.
So therefore, she's going with them just to introduce them, and then therefore she'll get rid of the book offline.
Yeah.
So she goes with them to a local historical house that's been there in New York for quite a while. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, somehow.
But there's a storyline, there's a sort of a backstory where the owner of the house had died and they had a crazy daughter who'd murdered someone and they locked her in the basement, yada yada yada.
And the guy who's explaining all that is, I like him, he's on The Office. I can't remember his name.
Yeah,
he's
I thought I'd recognise him, but I didn't know I'd recognise him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of The Office, but I've seen him.
He's a bit of a character actor, kind of.
Yeah. So
he plays like a very sort of nerdy guy. He's not in it a lot, but I just thought he's got a decent little part.
Yeah, but they go there, and it basically unravels in the fact that it kind of doubles for the library in the original Ghostbusters.
It does.
Got the same sort of ghost in there, which is a young girl.
Yeah, but oh my god, the CGI.
Yes.
I need to talk about this immediately.
Before we even get into the plot.
Before we even get into any more of the plot, the CGI in this film is atrocious.
Yeah, it is atrocious.
It is unbelievable that this film was made in 2016.
Yeah.
I have no idea why they didn't opt for some practical effects rather than go all in on the CGI.
Well, the thing is, it's not that they didn't pay for the practical effects. The problem is that all the practical effects that they've done are that people are playing the ghosts. So obviously they've just filmed people on green screen and then basically put a load of CGI on the top of it to make them look ghost-like, which is a problem. Because, like you said with the practical effects, I mean, Slimer does make an appearance later in the film, but he's not practical. He's not a puppet like the original film, he's CGI, so it kind of pulls back from the sort of realness of it, which is...
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest frustrations for me, is that I kept getting drawn out of the film, which I was trying to be invested in, because...
I mean, there's a lot of CGI in the original, but because it looks so, real, that you kind of like, you make peace with it and you're thinking, I'm involved.
Exactly.
But yeah, there's problems with the CGI. I don't believe that it was very good. I don't know what they did.
But anyway, they find this ghost in this old house, and then I don't even think they capture it. I can't even. I watched this film last night, and I can't even remember.
Yeah, they capture it
happened.
They don't capture it. They let it escape,
Right.
and then they destroy it basically. So it explodes.
And then goo's everywhere.
Yeah.
So apparently that was such an iconic thing in the first film, because literally every scene with any ghost involves
goo.
Loads of goo and slime.
Ectoplasm, as they call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ghost disappears, and then basically their YouTube video goes up online. They get more hits.
Yeah.
They, they're well known now. They're on the news.
Yeah.
So that's where they're sort of famous. Thing is, with this film, it's because it's set in the 21st century. It has to be on YouTube.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I get the point, but it's kind of just a because you're living in that age. It's kind of just a throwaway thing. It's like, of course, it would be on there,
And here's a couple of important things as well. They originally want to move into a fire station, which I believe is the original fire station.
Which is a gag, because it's like the original fire station from the film, or from the first film, but they have to live above a Chinese.
Yes, so that the fire station was way too expensive. It was like 21 grand a month or something crazy. And so they end up moving into a Chinese restaurant, and there's a running joke, which has to be one of the worst running jokes in the film, about Melissa McCarthy wanting a perfect Chinese soup with wontons, and
she always complains that she gets one wonton, but she wants more than one. But then I think there's a scene where he gives her more than wonton.
More than wonton?
More than wonton. More than wonton. We'll run with that. And then she complains about that as well.
Yeah, and it's referred to like 6 or 7 times.
Yeah, it's a running gag.
You know
it's
what?
Awful.
Not funny anytime.
No.
So they're moving on top of this Chinese restaurant. They go viral. They end up going on the news, and who's on the news?
Good old Bill Murray.
I don't know how much they paid Bill Murray for this, but he clearly just went onto the set and just went,
"No,
I'm not going to act."
Now you see, this is the problem that I have. I think every one of them people from the first film, the persons from the first film, really did want this film to succeed. I really do, because you got Bill Murray, you got Ernie Hudson, you got Sigourney Weaver,
Annie Potts is in it.
Dan
as well.
Aykroyd, yeah, you got Annie, and you've also got the best thing about the whole thing. Watch the credits. Who's producing it? Ivan Reitman.
Yep, he produced it,
and I was just like, how could you even pass off on this absolute drivel?
So I don't know what really happened there, but anyway, Bill Murray puts in possibly one of the worst performances of his entire career.
Yeah.
He just rocks up and just goes, "I don't believe in ghosts." Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, true. I think he might have probably been seeing the payday.
Yeah.
The paycheck.
And then they've got a ghost somewhere, and the ghost knocks Bill
so
Murray out the window.
they get a tip off. We forgot about Chris Hemsworth.
That's what I want to talk about.
Well, we'll get to that. Okay, so they we have to talk about it now, don't we?
What have we got to talk about?
Because the thing is, before all this happens, before they capture the first ghost,
Yeah.
they employ Chris Hemsworth as their receptionist. Now, this is where the film really started to annoy me, because they knew for a fact that people were kicking off about this all female cast, right?
Yeah.
But then they did something that really irritated me in the fact that when it was announced, I wasn't too bothered that they were all female.
Yeah.
But I didn't want it to be the point of the film.
That they're all female.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then it becomes the point of the film.
Yeah, and there are a lot of meta references to, particularly when their YouTube videos going viral, they talk about how, why are they disliking us and all that kind of thing, which is clearly a jab at the real dislikes that happened. But they hire Chris Hemsworth. I don't know what you're going to say about it, but I think Chris Hemsworth is great in this film.
He's redeemable. He's the funniest part of the film.
Easily.
He's the most enjoyable part of the film.
Yeah.
But the fact that he makes jokes, they gave him jokes about gender swapping.
Yeah.
And that is the problem with the film. The whole film, when you go through it and watch it, all they joke about is gender swapping.
Yeah.
And it's like, that, I know, we know why he did it, right? And it's fine, it's good.
Yeah.
But don't make it the point of the film.
Make it a film in its own right.
Yeah, fair enough you've picked an all-female cast, but don't sit there and joke about it for the whole film. It's like, we get it, it's fine. You don't have to joke about it. But then that's the point then, they kind of see it as a statement.
Yeah, and the only thing that I was frustrated about is that, like, Chris Hemsworth's character is really stupid. That's his whole character is.
Yeah.
He's so stupid. And one of the funniest bits is where there's a loud noise and he covers his eyes.
Yeah,
He's like, why is it so loud? Which is brilliant. But I thought it was unfair in the fact that Annie, the receptionist in the first film, is not a stupid character.
No.
She's relatively well fleshed out and has like wants and thoughts and feelings and a history, and she's not stupid by any stretch of the imagination. And in this film, they just decide, let's revert all the gender stereotypes and make him just an incredibly stupid, good-looking guy.
They've kind of it's like they've almost capitalised on the situation that everyone's getting uptight about it.
Yeah.
To make a joke about it, but then.
Do you think
too far then? It's just
I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on.
Oh, go on.
For a second. Do you think it was intentional to get more people to go and see it because of the outcry? Because they got so much free publicity out of the fact it was an all-female film.
Yeah, of course they did.
Yeah. So do you think they really played on it to get more people to talk about it?
Yeah, of course.
So,
I mean, if you're not going to capitalise on something that makes the film famous, then...
Yeah.
You know, I know that's business, but the problem is then you're watching a film that's just like a 2-hour... sort of joke on gender stereotypes.
It is long as well. That's one of the things that I wanted to mention. It's because the first film is pretty tight.
Yeah.
Goes in, goes out. I think it's like an hour and a half, something like that.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
But this film is like 2 hours and it feels long.
It drags.
Yeah.
It drags in the middle. And you're thinking like, you could have edited this down like a lot. That film could have been at least an hour and 20, hour and 30.
Easy.
You got rid of some of the scenes.
Yeah. Well, because even the next scene that we're about to talk about, you could cut that whole scene out.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway...
back to the plot anyway.
Bill Murray gets pushed out the window.
Well, they're not that bit yet.
I don't...
So they employ Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, they get Chris Hemsworth.
As their
receptionist.
Receptionist. And then the side plot then comes into play with possibly one of the worst villains in existence.
Who is it? Where does he come from?
He's just...
Where does he go? Where did he come from?
So in the plot line... He's just basically a guy who's been tormented by the world, and he has a bleak outlook on life. So he's basically been tormented by his peers. He doesn't really fit in society. So he decides, I'm going to open the barrier to the undead.
Can I also say, you're explaining this much better than the film actually explains it.
Yeah.
He's just a guy, he slaps a thing onto a wall, and then a ghost appears, and the Leslie character... is scared by the ghost.
No,
she's like a trained conductor.
We talked all the way through the first one very coherently, but this one we're forgetting scenes.
It's so confusing.
It's so forgettable.
It's so confusing.
So basically the side plot comes up where there's a guy who's been mistreated by society, and he decides to start opening the barriers. Well, what they called way lines. So the way lines in New York...
You paid so much more attention to this film than I did.
So the way lines of New York are the lines that go across New York, and they're sort of they're on the supernatural barrier between the plane of the demons and the plane of existence.
Yeah.
So it's that barrier that holds everything together. So basically, he decides to start opening them with these little devices.
Yeah.
So the devices are sort of placed on, these way lines, and they start letting ghosts in.
And the first ghost, who is that? Like this weird electric ghost?
Yeah, the electric ghost, because the subway is below the prison. So the thing is, this is where the film has good ideas, and you think...
Wait, but can I offer a counterpoint?
Go on.
This film reminded me a lot of Scooby-Doo Monsters Unleashed.
It did, yes! And I was about to say that.
This film is so similar to Scooby-Doo Monsters Unleashed.
Because the monsters look like that.
Yeah, the monsters look like that. The plot is kind of similar in that it's a very Scooby-Doo plot where it's just a guy working at a hotel who's behind the whole thing.
Of course, he's a creepy bellhop.
Yeah, he's a creepy bellhop guy. I was just like, did I put the wrong film
I
on?
really wanted someone to say Jinkies. I wanted Kate McKinnon to say Zoinks or Jinkies.
Yeah.
It was like what the film needed. If it turned into a Scooby-Doo film, I would have loved it.
Oh, what a twist that would have been!
Oh, they got away with it.
Oh.
These meddling kids. Anyway, back to the... So yeah, the scary electrocuting ghost was because the subway where Patty works, which is another character... We'll get into that in a minute.
Oh, God.
Patty's character works in the subway station underneath the old prison. So that's where the first people in New York were electrocuted. So that's why an electrocution ghost... Or a guy getting electrocuted is the first ghost.
Josh, you could be making this all up and I would still believe you.
You know what? This is the plot of the film and I can't believe that I can remember so much of it.
Yeah,
so,
I'm impressed.
Essentially, he's putting down these electric devices that open the way lines and open the barrier to the world so the ghosts come in. So the Ghostbusters obviously cotton on to that because they notice where all the electric devices are being put.
Yeah.
And they realise that, there's certain places that they pop up and they're on the way line, so they know that they're trying to break the barrier. Before this, they catch a first ghost. See what I mean? I'm losing my track.
Yeah, you're losing your track.
They catch their first ghost with a tip-off at a local rock concert, which leads to a really bizarre and awful...
Oh my God.
Ozzy Osbourne cameo.
The whole thing in the rock concert could have been cut out. Absolutely nothing would change in that film.
Yeah, I know.
They could just have a thing on a computer pop up and say, there's a ghost. They didn't need to do all this, but they go to this rock concert. There's a load of jokes about metal and how awful metal music is and all this kind of stuff. And then Ozzy Osbourne's there, and then there's a ghost that isn't actually a ghost. It's like a weird demon thing with wings.
Yeah, it's like a dragon ghost.
It's like a dragon ghost.
It's like a dragon ghost. So basically, the ghost is there. Everyone thinks it's part of the show, and then the Ghostbusters turn up.
There's a fat joke, and then there's another joke where Patty jumps and tries to get crowd surfed and no one catches her. And
there's a lot of failed jokes in that scene. So they capture the first ghost and take it back to the lab, and then Bill Murray turns up because Bill Murray plays a ghost
he's like a skeptic. He's a
skeptic, so he debunks a lot of theories.
And this is where he gets knocked out the window.
Yes, so he turns up and demands to see the ghost. Now, Melissa McCarthy doesn't want him to see the ghost because she doesn't. She basically has the view that they shouldn't be proving anything to anyone. They should just get on with their own stuff. Which is
stupid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's fair enough. Like, if you have your own views in life, you get on with it. That's sort of the message of the story in that one scene. So then Kristen Wiig obviously opens the box. The box opens, the ghost gets out, throws Bill Murray out of the window.
Bill Murray's dead.
Yeah, that's his cameo done. This leads to then the ghost inhabiting the body of Kevin, who's Chris Hemsworth's character.
Well, no, because before that it's Melissa McCarthy, right? When does that happen?
No, that is just Rowan when he gets killed. The villain called Rowan. That's when he comes back. And,
okay.
Don't worry about it.
Oh my God.
So yeah, the oh actually no, it's not the dragon demon that.
Yeah, the dragon demon.
No, I'm getting confused.
Yes,
I'm getting confused. You're right.
Too confusing.
Oh God.
I don't know what happens after, because I know that there's a point where when does the bit where they all get the little technology stuff happen?
That's just in the middle of everything.
Kate McKinnon gives him
in the middle of everything.
A gun hand.
They're testing that in the alleyway. They test everything.
And they've got like a shotgun pasta maker thing.
Yeah. I don't know what.
I don't know.
Anyway, so they get called into the mayor's office after that ghost disappears.
Yeah.
So the mayor is like, basically, stop doing what you're doing. We're going to have to make it look like you're frauds. And we're going to have to just make sure people aren't getting panicked because I don't want the city getting panicked. I don't want to evacuate everyone, blah, blah, blah. So they go, well, we're not going to do that because that's not what we do. So, obviously...
Well, can I go back to a point that we've also missed?
Yeah, go on.
While they're in the subway, getting the subway ghost, there's like a graffiti guy.
Oh.
So there's like a guy...
I forgot about that.
Doing graffiti on the wall.
Yeah.
And then Patty's character says, can you not do the graffiti? So he's like, okay, I'll just cross it out. And then the camera pans round, and it's the Ghostbusters logo. And then Kate McKinnon takes a picture of it. And
because they're trying to find out what their logo would be. And this is where another issue of the film is.
The original Ghostbusters didn't need to do that. It was just like, here's a cool logo.
They had the cool logo and it was there, and you didn't really question it. But this one...
And then they had to over-explain the hearse, which is Patty's uncle's hearse.
Yeah, but that
company.
really is to just lay the foundation of a cameo.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, that's true. But, again, everything is so over-explained and over... I don't know.
It's almost forced.
Yeah, that's the best
They
word
needed
for
to
it.
explain the logo. That why would the new Ghostbusters have the old Ghostbusters logo? Where did they get the logo from? It's like it's things that no one cares about.
Yeah.
And I mean, to reveal the logo in such a like horrible cheesy way.
It was so cheesy.
It was like, oh please, just get on with it.
Yeah.
Like, it's so bad. Like you knew what it was going to be 10 minutes before it even came on, because they were trying to find a logo, and Kevin was making that was another funny scene. Like,
that is funny.
Kevin was trying to make them logos, and they're all funny ones, and fair
it's
enough.
got big boobs, and there's one where it's just the 7-Eleven logo.
Yeah,
there's one with a hot dog over a house, and they're like, "What does that mean?" It's like, "Well, the ghost is
the ghost is holding
the hot dog."
Which is, it's all funny, but again, it's because it's in a Ghostbusters film. It's like, why have you even made this a Ghostbusters film? It's funny on its own. Why even do it to it? So yeah, we see the logo that horrible way. But yes, I can't remember where we are.
The
mayor's office.
Should we start the podcast again?
We have to at this point. But anyway, the mayor takes him in.
Yeah.
Says stop doing what you're doing, and they say yes, okay. Well, they haven't got any choice really. They get silenced and say that they're frauds. At this point, they find out about the way lines. That's what I was talking about before. So they find out that someone's trying to break the barrier between the undead world and the living world. So they realise where all the electrical devices are coming from.
Yep.
And you know what? I can't even remember. I can't even... Oh, wait, no. They find the intersection point.
They find the intersection
so the middle
point,
point,
they go there.
Yeah, the middle point
it's like
is
his
the hotel where he works. Yeah, so the guy's called Rowan, and he works there. So they realise that they've seen him before because he comes to Patty in the subway and he says something really random to her. So they go and investigate, and they find that Rowan's made a device that will definitely unlock the barrier this time because it amplifies all the electrical currents.
He's got like weird mirror things.
Yeah, he's got mirrors that allow the dead to come through, so that it kind of Thing is though, I mean, like the barrier's supposed to be invisible, so why even put the mirrors there? It's just for a visual sort of.
Yeah. Bring back Zool. Zool, it was so simple.
We'll get onto that.
Yeah, but Zool was so simple.
I know. Zool was just basically, I want to take over everyone. Let me in.
Classic old school villain. But anyway, let's keep going.
Yeah, so they find Rowan.
We're near the end?
Yeah, we are. Well, no, because it's a really
no.
So they find Rowan inside the hotel. He's trying to amplify the barrier breaking. And then
he does?
He kills himself on the machine.
Yeah.
Which then sort of makes him immortal, so he goes on to the undead side, but that allows him to become a ghost and therefore inhabit the sort of living world.
Yeah.
So then we get a next scene where Melissa McCarthy's character is possessed by Rowan.
Yep.
She starts like trying to destroy stuff.
I remember that. She's like holding him out the window.
Yeah, she holds him out the window.
Her neck spins round.
Like The Exorcist.
And then there's like a really funny scene, no sarcasm at all, where Patty's like slapping her in the face. I just took joy out of that.
You see, I actually enjoyed that because it was a joke about The Exorcist, because she says the power of Patty compels you, which I love that line from The Exorcist.
Yeah.
It's one of the funniest lines in the world.
That bit was okay. I don't know about Patty's character. I don't know if you want to go on to this for a second.
We might as well, because I think Patty's character is the stereotypical black character.
Yeah, which was frustrating and a little
horrible.
bit upsetting. Because I feel like Winston's character... I don't know how Winston ended up with the Ghostbusters, but he's just kind of there, and he has a bit of comic relief, but there's no real mick taken out of him.
No.
And he's just like a part of the gang who's just happy to be there.
Yeah.
Whereas everything that Patty says is either about her blackness, or... I don't know, she's...
A play on why she's there, or she's the only one.
Because she is also, like, super smart, like,
yeah,
but for some reason just works at a Subway, even though she knows
that's
everything
what I mean.
about...
It kind of goes against conventions, because she's very knowledgeable of history.
Yeah.
Which is like, oh, that's really good, that's an actual play on strengths.
Yeah.
But then she just reverts to this sort of, like, stereotypical, like, oh, yeah, I'm the black character. It's like, yeah, we get it. It's been, you know, whatever reason it's been put in there to balance out, or whatever you want to do. It's in there, you don't have to make fun of it.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious that it just kind of... It gets a bit like, oh, they had to do that. It's, you know, if it had played out as normal and there wasn't any jokes about it, it'd been fine. But, yeah, it had to just go down that avenue. Yeah.
And Melissa McCarthy's character is similar in that a lot of her jokes are at the extent of her being, like, fat.
Yes. Yeah, the same as. It's just useless. It's just really, really useless, because those things shouldn't even be... And I know it's a comedy at the end of the day, but it shouldn't even be a point. It shouldn't be a point. There should be no question about it.
So she gets possessed.
Oh, we're back on that.
And then Kevin gets possessed.
Yeah, she gets possessed. The ghost of Rowan flies out the window, possesses Kevin, who then goes back to the hotel to re-engage the machine to then break the barriers.
Yeah, and there's a lot of jokes about how strong he is and good
he doesn't
looking
look as beefy as he does in Thor. Which is...
No,
must have had a year off.
This is definitely where Chris Hemsworth really...
Crimson Hemsworth.
Good old Crimson Hemsworth, like, comes into his own. He becomes such a good character at this point.
Yeah. He's allowed to play in the area of, like... Yeah. Comedy, actual comedy.
Comedy and villain. You think Crimson?
Crimsworth now.
Crimson Hemsworth.
Crimson Hemsworth. He's, I think he's a really good, like... comedic.
I really like Hemsworth. Yeah. I think he's really good. I've liked him. Obviously, I've liked him since Thor.
Yeah, but Thor Ragnarok is...
He's brilliant in it. I really hope this is the right Hemsworth. There's so many Hemsworth. I really like him in the House... What's it called? The horror film. House.
Horror film?
Yeah.
House.
Cabin in the Woods.
I don't think he's in that.
I think it's Chris Hemsworth.
Is it Chris Hemsworth?
I think it's Chris Hemsworth.
Is that him?
I think it's Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, okay. I'll have to double check.
He's like the jock.
Fair enough. It might be him, yeah. I think it might be.
It's a Hemsworth. It might be...
it's one of them.
Might be a different Hemsworth.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, he's quite good in that. Yeah, if it is him.
It is Chris Hemsworth. Yay!
Yeah, well done. Yes, it is that guy.
Yeah, so whenever he plays comedic parts, I think he's really good.
He
plays it really well. Do we have to go on?
We're taking so many breaks in this plot because it's so...
Do we have to continue? Because, you know what? I'm going to be upfront. I've taken the mick out of you for not watching Ghostbusters.
Right.
I fell asleep for the last 10 minutes of this film.
Oh, no. You didn't.
I fell asleep.
You only got me for not watching the original, even though I've seen it, but you haven't seen the...
I'd had a few beers. I was in bed. I was watching Ghostbusters.
Just to drown the sorrows.
Yeah. And it got to just after this point that we're talking about.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah.
So I'd seen the bit where it looked like there was going to be a dance scene, and then there's not a dance scene, and then the dance scene's in the credits. Really confused about that.
You fell asleep during the dance scene?
I didn't fall asleep during the dance scene.
Oh.
But, like, there is an implied dance scene, and then the dance scene doesn't happen.
It does happen.
It happens in the credits.
No. It happens.
Oh.
You fell
I might
asleep.
have fallen asleep. I know that
do you mean the disco dance scene? Is that what you're talking about?
I'm talking about where all the policemen are.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. Does it properly happen in the film?
It properly happens.
Oh.
And we'll get onto it.
Okay.
It is... Oh, God. I'm dying here. I'm really dying. Right, so, yeah, basically, Rowan opens the barrier.
Yeah.
All the ghosts come in. We get basically a carbon copy of the original Ghostbusters where all the ghosts are flying around one building, which is the hotel. So that's the middle.
Oh, and the hotel, the desk clerk at the hotel is Annie, the receptionist from.
Yeah, she has a cameo as the desk clerk.
She's got a cameo there.
Which is quite a funny. It is quite a funny.
It's
cameo.
a decent cameo. Dan Aykroyd as a taxi driver.
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd comes up as a taxi driver and says a really really cheesy line of I don't go to downtown and I ain't afraid no ghosts.
Yeah.
It's like, right, well done.
Good
Paycheck. See you later.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rowan gets in the body of Kevin. He opens the barriers. I think I've said this.
I think we've said this about 6 times.
So the barriers are open.
Yeah.
And then Kristen Wiig. There's quite a funny scene where she visits the mayor in a restaurant, which is quite funny.
Yeah, and she's getting dragged out. But although it was funny, it did feel somewhat out of place of this film. It felt like it could have been in Bridesmaids, for example.
Yeah, it did too.
It was that kind of humour where she's just getting the mick taken out of her.
That's the whole film.
And acting hysterical. Yeah,
all
it is
the film is
film.
basically humour that would work in another film.
Yeah. They don't really play around with the humour of ghosts in the way that the original Ghostbusters does.
They play around with humour of characters.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough because there is
it's okay.
But it's not to the... it's just like they've slapped it on and just not thought about it.
Yeah.
So yes, so that whole sequence, she asks the mayor to then evacuate the city, which he doesn't believe because he thinks she's crazy.
Yeah, so they don't evacuate, and then a load of ghosts come.
Yeah, a lot of ghosts break out.
And at this point in the film, it becomes like a weird action film.
Yeah, it's kind of like the third act of just basically we'll just jump the tempo up to 100.
Yeah, and there's like weird president ghosts.
Yeah, there's Civil War sort of ghosts.
Civil War ghosts.
Yeah, so there's ghosts from like other eras and things like that. So basically, all the ghosts escape. They, the actual like center point is the hotel. So that's where Kevin obviously is situated.
Yeah.
So Melissa McCarthy, Kate McKinnon, and Patty.
Yeah.
I can't remember Leslie Jones, is it?
That's her actress.
Yeah, so all them three characters sort of go and try and defeat the threat, and then Kristen Wiig turns up and joins them. They battle Kevin. I'm just doing a quick version because it's shocking. But then that scene beforehand, it's possibly one of the worst scenes I've ever seen in a film to date.
He just moves his arms about, doesn't he?
Yeah, so he sort of like manipulates the rest of the police force into dancing to You Should Be Dancing by Bee Gees. Oh, I don't know whatever that song is.
Oh, You Make Me Feel Like Dancing?
No, not You Make Me Feel Like Dancing.
Oh.
You Should Be Dancing.
Okay.
You should be dancing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, basically, he makes them all dance to that, and it is possibly one of the cringiest moments. Because disco lights and a light up floor come from absolutely nowhere.
Oh, my God.
And it's like, you're thinking, who sat in that meeting and
okay,
green light that? It's like 20th Century Fox don't have a fucking idea.
See, this is where I definitely fell asleep after they had the fight with the Civil War people.
Yes, so they had the big fight and they show off all the toys.
Yeah.
Which is like, there was payoff because you showed... Now,
but it wasn't really payoff because they didn't need to have any of that stuff.
Well, no, that's what I mean, but the payoff was you showed... You
showed it before and then they used it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But like, some of the scenes were like, they were showing us stuff and I was just like, what relevance does that have to the rest of the
film? To be fair, Kate McKinnon's bit was really cool where she just whips out the two little pistols.
Yes, now
that bit was really cool.
That is the only scene in the film I thought, why couldn't the rest of the film be serious and be like that?
It was actually like well choreographed and she was quirky and funny. She was licking her guns and all that kind of stuff.
Which is funny. Like, it can be funny, but not to the extent that this film is trying to do. Like, it's just cheap jokes in a way.
Yep.
There's a lot of fart jokes in there which I didn't like.
There was, yeah. And then Slimer's there at some point.
CGI Slimer comes on.
CGI Slimer's
You know what, he's
there.
not even worth mentioning because he's not even in it.
No.
He's only in it to serve the end of the film.
Yeah, and tell me what happens at the end. Because let me tell you what happened when I woke up. There was a big Rowan on the floor. And that was
There was a big what?
Big Rowan.
Oh yeah, the thing that he turns into a big Stay Puft.
Yeah,
man.
That's what I woke up and saw.
Yeah, so they had
There's some balloons.
They had to. Yeah, they
There's
fight
a Stay
balloons.
Puft balloon.
Yeah, ghost balloons or something.
Yeah, well, I don't understand.
The production
makes no sense.
The production side of that film just went, you know what? Let's just do this. And Paul Feig was like, yeah, that sounds great. That sounds amazing. So they battle Rowan. Rowan then turns into a big Stay Puft man, and then they battle him, and basically they make the.
Should we just restart the podcast?
No. So they go into the portal.
Right.
So they use the portal as a big ghost trap.
Oh, I did see this bit, and then Melissa McCarthy's like floating about somewhere. And
we'll
Kristen
get onto
Wiig
that.
like gets. Oh my god.
So they use this cross streams situation from the first film, and they power it into the portal, which is the barrier between the two worlds. That's not enough.
Can I just say, had the cross streams thing been established at all in this film?
It had, yeah. They said don't do it, and it was a running sort of like, it was a foreshadowing thing.
Fine.
So that's fine. So then obviously they haven't got enough power, so they have to get Well, they use Slimer because he steals.
I didn't see any of this bit.
He steals their car.
He did steal the car.
Slimer steals the car, and they mention...
Well, and then they shoot the car, don't they?
Yes, they mention that the top of it is full of nuclear waste, which is the most... It's the most...
Josh is frustratedly rubbing his head as he's talking.
It's so stupid. Like, why would a character put nukes on the top of a car? Just for the service of the story. It's like, why? Why would you even do that? I mean, I know she's quirky, but she isn't stupid. Anyway, so Slimer drives the car over the portal because they force him to do it.
Yeah.
Well, they block his way and he drives the car over. They shoot the top of the car, an explosion happens. It sucks everything back into the portal, including the big Rowan Stay Puft character. So they basically... Oh, actually, no. It's not a Stay Puft. Do you know what he turns into? He turns into the Ghostbusters logo.
That's it.
He turns into the Ghostbusters ghost from the logo, and it turns into a big evil creature of it. And that wraps up the whole film, because I'm thinking, you just took a turd on the Ghostbusters ghost. Anyway, they shoot the top of the car, it makes an explosion, it sucks all the ghosts in. And then Melissa McCarthy's character gets sucked in for some bizarre reason, just so that the character has an emotional payoff.
Yeah. Which was totally unneeded and unwarranted.
Yeah,
because
he didn't care anyway.
He didn't. Yeah, from the very beginning, it just seemed random whether they liked each other or not. It was just like, okay, I've decided to like you now.
Yeah, it all works. And so she gets sucked in. Kristen Wiig ties a rope around herself, jumps in after her, goes to grab her again, and then the other two characters pull back on the cord. They get sucked back in. They have white hair for some reason.
Yes, they do have white hair.
Like they've aged, but they don't have the ear.
Did you notice this? Okay, so when they're wrapping everything up at the very end, they dye the hair, like, it's a bright ginger and another colour, and then in the very next scene, the hair's back to the normal hair.
Yeah, because that's supposed to be sort of like post-credits, it's after it.
But it was so strange.
Yeah, it's bizarre. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, they defeat Rowan, he's sucked back in, they get Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy back. Kevin's fine.
Kevin's alright.
He's been sorted out. He's been left alone.
Yeah.
And
he gets a sandwich.
Yeah, he does get a sandwich.
But definitely one of the best scenes where they throw the sandwich away and he's just like, "Can I have my sandwich back?" He just catches it and carries on eating.
And it is a bit of a metaphor.
It's great.
It's like he's got. Everyone knows he's like the big star on the set, sort of thing. And like, I want my sandwich back, which is quite funny.
Yeah, I really like that.
He is the funniest part of that whole thing. And then the film ends there. The Ghostbusters are sort of well known. Everyone loves them. The mayor actually says, keep doing what you're doing, we'll fund you. Yeah. And then they get the fire station.
They get the fire station.
How they end up at the fire station.
And then Sigourney Weaver's there
as a mentor to
Kate McKinnon.
Which is quite a good cameo.
Yeah,
there's some good cameos in there. There's some.
And then Patty's uncle is Winston.
Yeah, Eddie Hudson. Who plays Winston. He pops in for a bit, and the film ends.
Yeah, and then I cried myself to sleep.
Did you watch the post-credits scene?
I turned it off.
Right at the end?
I turned it off.
Oh, you missed a doozy.
What was it?
So, Patty's character's at the recording machine. When they record EVP, which is electrical voice
projection,
something like that. They record it anyway. So she's listening back to it. She's like, "Ooh, what's that?" And then she turns to everyone and says, "What's Zool?"
Oh my god!
I'm thinking, oh, where's the sequel?
Ghostbusters 2!
But I was not thinking that. I was thinking, thank God that's over. And thank God that I didn't have to sit through the credits to see that scene.
Yeah, that's true. Also, this film made a loss, right? It didn't...
It must have.
It didn't do very well.
But they're doing more. They've signed on for 3 films.
Oh, God, no!
It's been 2 years and there's been nothing said of it.
Yeah,
so
there's been no...
It's dead in the water, to be honest.
So, closing thoughts, Josh. What did you think of Ghostbusters 2016?
Shit.
Did you answer the call?
I did not answer the call.
Did you
put the phone down and I threw the phone in the tank like Kevin did and he thought the phone was in the tank. That's what I did. It's a shocking film. It should never have been made. And I'm really irritated that we're doing a rebooting podcast that I have to watch these shit films. But no,
he was so... When I said the first one that I want to do was Ghostbusters, he was so upset.
I vowed never to watch it. That's the point. I vowed never to see it because the thing about the film is you see a trailer, you know when you see a trailer and you know what the film's gonna be like.
You were one of those dislikers, weren't you, Josh?
I was a certain disliker, but not because of because of the sort of like because it's all women and the female sort of like the gender swap idea. I mean, I kind of liked the idea when they announced it. I was like, that's actually quite a good idea. But then I was thinking, please don't make it the point of the film.
Sure.
But then they did,
yeah,
which was like, I can't stand this. It's really annoying. Like, just make it happen and go along with it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to point it out every 2 seconds to make it funny. It's not funny.
It wasn't funny.
What did you think of overall of it? I hated it.
I mean, I think the fact that I fell asleep sums up my thoughts on Ghostbusters Answer the Call.
Yeah.
I was confused. It was tonally all over the place. I couldn't tell whether it wanted to be a comedy or an action film.
I agree there.
Because it really did go all in on that cliched superhero. The world is going to end unless you do X.
Yep.
And although that threat was there to an extent in the original Ghostbusters, the threat was towards the characters who you felt empathy towards, and you didn't want them to get eaten by a giant steak.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't really care about the city. It was more about the characters.
Yeah, but in this, it was all about them and the world exploding and ghosts.
But it's more about the bigger picture. It's like, well, if you stay grounded with the characters, then you actually care.
If they made if they made all the characters likeable the way that Kate McKinnon's character was, I think I would have liked it more.
I think it depends what your feelings are of Kirsten Wiig and
I don't have a strong opinion about them, to be honest.
I think they're a bit Marmite though. I think like, people either love them or hate them. I don't really like them because I don't know, they're very samey. Like you've seen them in a couple of things and they're the same, and it's like we get that, but you'd rather see you do something else, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it's if they're the main two characters, then you've got the issue. So.
Yeah, and there were a lot of issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've summed up what we feel about Ghostbusters
Thank
there.
God for that.
Closing thoughts.
Yes.
Should Ghostbusters 1984 have been rebooted?
Never. It never should have been rebooted. They should have made it. If they were going to make anything, they should have made a third film.
Okay.
But not riffed on the original Ghostbusters. I think if they were going to do Ghostbusters, they should have had a new set of Ghostbusters that took on from the old Ghostbusters.
You think it should have followed on?
Which is what this film was supposed to be at the start.
Yeah.
But they apparently just went with a full reboot sort of thing. Or remake.
Yeah.
So if they did a reboot, they should have done what, say, Power Rangers did.
Oh, we'll get on to
Power Rangers, but you know what I mean. Like, the whole Power Rangers thing it's in the mythos of Power Rangers.
Yeah.
So they could have made like a mythos of Ghostbusters where they carried on afterwards, and obviously they would have got older and didn't do the job.
They could have been the kids of the
on.
original ones, for example. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean that is a very cliched one, but
but it's similar.
Yeah, but they could have just passed it on to someone else. Like, oh, you've joined the team. Oh yeah, you've worked up the ranks. So there's different people.
Yeah.
But no, it should never have been made.
Shouldn't have been, and this remake, does it do the original justice?
No.
Do you feel worse about the original having watched the reboot?
No, I feel better about it.
Okay.
The film only serves to boost the original's brilliance.
Yeah. We also forgot that soundtrack. That Fall Out Boy Ghostbusters song.
The Fall Out Boy retooling of the Ghostbusters theme tune that was like... I was watching it with my headphones on my PC, and I took my headphones off and I looked at Amy and I went, what is the one band that would retool the Ghostbusters theme tune? Who would be so low? And she went, Black Eyed Peas, and I was like, well, yeah, fair enough.
Fair.
And then she said, like, Fall Out Boy, and I was like...
You got it.
Into.
Yeah.
The only people who would be so
low.
So low. What did you think of?
It was much worse than I thought going into it.
you know when you said before, like I had, when I went into it, I was thinking, I thought, actually you thought it was alright, but no, it's the opposite.
Yeah. Careful. That was a ghost. We're gonna have to call the Ghostbusters in.
Oh no.
I don't know. I think Ghostbusters could have been rebooted well. Like you said, I don't think this was the right reboot. I appreciate it for the things it was trying to do for the actors, and hope there's never another one.
Not even if it's a Ghostbusters 3. A proper Ghostbusters, like aliens that's gonna come out. like a sequel to Aliens that's gonna do the rounds. Hopefully. You know what I mean? If they
do know what you mean.
if they forgot the reboot and just did it from a sequel point of view,
Yeah.
would you be happy?
No, I don't think so. I don't think a sequel is necessary. I'd like a proper reboot
Or
where,
like a proper fresh
even if they
reboot.
move to a different place or just do something different with the concept that they've got, I think I would be happy with it.
Okay.
But just trying to do essentially the same story but worse is not the way to do it.
Wants.
Yeah, you don't need a creepy villain Scooby-Doo man. You just need a decent cast and a decent story, and you'd be
And
halfway there.
you need a decent villain. You do need a decent villain because
Yeah.
that's why Ghostbusters 2 works, because Vigo is quite a good villain.
So that's Ghostbusters. How are you feeling, Josh?
I feel really worn out.
You feeling
I
exhausted?
feel like I could rage about it all day.
You feeling angry?
I'm feeling very angry that even Reitman even signed off on it. Was he even put as an executive producer on the project?
I think he was just a producer. I don't even think it was an executive.
Oh well,
I think he was
that's
a
even
producer.
worse.
That's
He was
what
an
I
actual
mean.
producer.
Yeah.
No, he did. You know, it's his fault.
Well, Josh, what are we going to be talking about next week?
Next week we are going to be talking about Clash of the Titans, the original 1981. Yeah, 81, and the 2010 remake, which is thoroughly a remake. It's not even a reboot. So that's another remake.
So that is what's going to happen next week.
Yeah, that is another one that we're gonna tackle. But that hopefully it'll be a bit better than this one.
I think this was perfect. I think we explained the plots of the films very well.
Well, maybe
I
not
don't
the.
think we had
maybe not
many
the remake.
tangents.
Maybe
No,
not the
it was word for word,
It
Josh.
was hard to. I mean, I was doing well at the start, but it was hard to.
I think sometimes our explanations were better than the film itself.
especially the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. How do we sign this off?
Well, thanks for listening. If you have listened all the way through, because it is quite a long one, and we've been talking about a very terrible film.
Yeah. Thanks, Mum, for listening.
There's one listener.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Thank you for listening. If you have done, even if you've just started listening to the end of it, that's great.
How does someone listen to the end? Have
Sorry.
you listened to a podcast?
Listen to the start of it. That's what I meant. Even if you've listened to the beginning sections, even if you skip to the end, hello, welcome. Thanks
Goodbye.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah. And let's start this all over again, Josh. Do it from the beginning.
Please don't.